Hi, welcome to yet another episode of Photoshop Lightroom TV. I'm your host Marek Mularczyk from sitetraining.co.uk, and this is episode 44 of Photoshop Lightroom TV. We've been doing it for 44 weeks now, so almost a year. I hope you're enjoying all the previous episodes of Photoshop Lightroom TV. Just to give you a quick idea about Photoshop Lightroom TV, this weekly video podcast is created for you to give you information, show you tips, tricks and techniques, to share it with you. I know how difficult it is sometimes to find useful techniques or even tutorials online. I've been there, sometimes I was looking for some tutorials and I couldn't find them, or when I found them, because you can find loads of video tutorials nowadays, anyone can create them really easily with their computer, webcam or the recording software, but many of them were of poor quality, and I'm not talking about the technical quality, I'm talking about the quality of the tutorials. So many times I was watching some videos that sounded interesting, the topic was interesting, but the person didn't really know the topic that well. I'll give you a quick example. I remember once I was watching a video about something in Flash, and this person is talking about how to do the technique, and he says, okay, so now we navigate here, we convert this to a symbol, and then it suddenly stopped working. And he says, oh, this doesn't work, okay, let's try that. Oh no, this doesn't work either, so maybe it just doesn't work. This person could at least create this video once again, re-record it. So I know how hard it is to find good quality videos online. Okay, let's start with the first tutorial, and this tutorial will be in Bridge. I'm going to show you an overview of the metadata inside Adobe Bridge. Show you some interesting parts of the metadata and how to use it effectively to quickly apply or check metadata or keywords, among many, within Adobe Bridge. So let's jump into Adobe Bridge. Hi, welcome. I'm here inside Adobe Bridge. I'm going to talk about metadata panel and metadata information within your images. But there's one more thing I'm going to do first. I'm going to change the color of the backgrounds, the layouts of the Adobe Bridge. I'm using the Essentials workspace, which is the default in Adobe Bridge and in every Adobe application when you launch it, most Adobe applications. So I'm using the Essentials workspace, which is fine because I've got a preview panel, metadata, keywords, folders and favorites on the left hand side, and filter. But I want to change the layout. I want it to be darker, the background color. So I'm going to navigate to Bridge Preferences. So I'm going to go Edit Preferences. In the Preference dialog box, in the General category, I'm going to darken the user interface. Okay. I think this is one of the questions I recently received either on Adobe Forum or on my YouTube channel. By the way, I've got lots of videos on my YouTube channel. Go and visit. You can just search in for Marek Mularczyk or Marer13, the one you can see here, MARER13. Okay, so I'm darkening the interface, Bridge interface. Okay. I can also darken the image backdrop. So I'm going to make it more or less the same color. Okay, this looks good. Accent color, I'm going to change it from orange to red. Ruby, looks good, I like it. Okay. Also for favorite items, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to leave computer, MRL13, desktop. That's fine, that's okay. I'll just press OK. Now I'm going to, using Folders panel, I'm going to navigate. Or actually, I can use the favorites panel and I can navigate to my pictures. And I've got a folder called 2011. I'm going to open it and I'll jump into, let's say, this folder here. First of all, you can change the size of the thumbnails using the slider on the bottom of your screen. So I'm going to increase the size. Okay, I'm going to make this panel a bit bigger to see more information. Okay. Good. Right, and I'm going to select one of the images, for example this one here, and I'll look into the metadata panel. First of all, if you're looking at metadata panel, displays on the top information from your camera. It shows you the aperture, the shutter speed, the ISO, so I'll use ISO 160, and then the pixel dimensions, the file size, color profile, sRGB, the resolution 72, and is using the RGB color mode. To be precise, sRGB. Then we have file properties. A lot of information here in Bridge. The name of the file, the document type, the application was used to create this file. So it's Photoshop Lightroom 3.3. Okay. And all sorts of information, including dimensions. Okay. But what's interesting is that if you scroll down, you also find the camera data. So you can see the camera I used, also the lens I used. For example, by looking on the name of the lens where it says AFS 1785, if you know a bit about photography and lenses, you know that this is a Canon lens because EFS are Canon lenses. And the aperture, the focal length, but also a serial number of the camera. This is a really important point here, because very often people on my Photoshop and Lightroom courses are asking, how can I protect my images? Well, you can use Flash when you put them online, because Flash cannot be downloaded. But if you use HTML, or if you put it on an HTML website, you could probably know that you can just right-click on an image and choose Save As. Or if you use Firefox, for example, you can just simply drag and drop it onto your desktop. And there's nothing you can do as a photographer about that. What you could do is you could add watermarks, like some websites do, like iStock Photo, for example. They put watermarks. Or if someone uses your images illegally, what you can do is, of course, you can go to court, and then you can prove that this is your image by looking at the serial number, because this is the serial number of your camera, and this information cannot be edited. Now, if you look on the metadata panel here in Bridge, some options have pencil icon next to it, which means these options can be edited. The ones that don't have pencil are not editable. So nobody can delete or remove or change the serial number or the model of the camera. Yeah, this is not editable. Okay, so this is all that can be edited. All right. For example, the audio and video. Also, if you look in the IPTC core, you can edit that. So I got the name, my name, secret city, postal code, and email address. Now let's say I want to change something here. For example, I want to maybe add a keyword here. Now what I could do is to select all the images and add a keyword to all these images at the same time. Bear in mind, I've got 167 images here. You may have thousands. Now, because all these images come from our recent trip to Wales, North Wales to be precise, I'm going to start by highlighting all the images. I'm just clicking on one and then pressing Ctrl A. There will be Command A on the Mac. And in the IPTC core section in the metadata panel, I'll just click next to keywords and I'll start typing. So I'm going to type in Wales. I'll separate them using commas or semicolons. Also North Wales and also UK. And I'll just press OK. I don't have to press enter. Now, the next step I could do is I could try to maybe deselect them, and you should see this message here. Do you want to apply these metadata changes to selected files? Yes, of course I do. So I'll click apply. Now all these metadata have been applied to all these images that were highlighted. If you jump into the keywords panel, you can see the keywords that are being applied: North Wales, UK and Wales. If I deselect all the images, so edit and then deselect all, I'll just highlight one of the images. You can see check marks next to these keywords as well. And it says here on the top, assigned keywords, North Wales, UK and Wales. Okay, that's a quick overview of the metadata and keywords panels inside Adobe Bridge. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial in Bridge. That's how you use metadata. This applies to any version of Bridge, not just Bridge CS5. Last week I shared with you a review of the new Dell XPS 15 laptop, and I talked a bit about Dell XPS and the HP Envy. I hope you enjoyed it. If you haven't seen it, watch the last week's episode 43 of Photoshop Lightroom TV, where I get more into detail about these two laptops, and I'm showing the features of the Dell XPS 15. It's a very, very good laptop. I'm really enjoying using it. I really love it, and I think this is very well money spent. And it has an incredible value when you compare the price with the quality, the specifications, and the quality of the build as well. It's very good. Okay, now let's jump into second tutorial, and this tutorial will be in Photoshop. I'm going to use Photoshop, and I'll show you how you can slice the graphics and export them for the web. Now let's say you're designing a website for a client, and you get a mock-ups of the website from the client. You can use the slicing techniques in Photoshop to export different parts of the mock-up and then use it on the web. I wouldn't recommend slicing everything, even though you could do it with Photoshop, but you can slice certain elements of the page. So let's have a look at it. Let's see what Photoshop can do in this time. Okay, here I am inside Adobe Photoshop, and in this tutorial I'm going to show you how to take parts of the layout that was created by a client and slice it. Let me show you what I mean by that. I'm going to open the file that was created as a layout of a website that I'm going to design, and this is just a concept. Okay, this image here, I'm just going to open it. First you can notice is that the text that was used in this design might need to be updated. Okay, now do I want to update it? Maybe some of the text layers use different font that I have on my computer. So I'm going to click no, because I don't want to change it. And also, if I don't have this font, the best choice here will be to slice these images. I'm going to slice the menu, so I don't have to worry about the font. Okay. So what I want to do here is I want to slice the menu and export it as graphics using Photoshop, and then put it on the website. I'm going to put everything together using Dreamweaver. I'm not going to slice it, even though you could slice everything with Photoshop here. Photoshop can slice the website for you and export it, even create an HTML file with all the content. Unfortunately, Photoshop uses table layout, and we don't use table layouts anymore. More on that will be in my shortly coming book about designing websites with Dreamweaver, so I will be notifying you more about that soon. So what I want to do here is I want to slice it. Okay, so I'll be using slice tool. You can find the slice tool behind the crop tool here. I'm going to zoom in a bit, even though I'm working on 100% view already. I'm just going to zoom in a bit more so it's easier for me, and I'm going to start slicing the buttons. So I'm going to start now. These will be separate slices, so I'm going to start maybe here. I'm not going to slice all of them, just so you get an idea. I'm going to slice one or two. Okay. If I want to include the backgrounds, I can slice it as well. In this case, I'm just going to slice the graphic on its own. This creates one slice for me, and of course, Photoshop will automatically slice all the other parts of the image, so everything gets sliced. Now I can create another slice here next to it. Oops, let me just undo it. I'm going to create another slice here with this vertical line, so about its size, and then another one here. Okay, so I've got 3 slices. Now I can quickly export them and save them using Save for Web and Devices. So I'll go to File, Save for Web and Devices. By the way, Save for Web and Devices is used to optimize your graphics as well, to make sure you get the smallest file size and really good quality. I'm going to keep it on the Optimize tab, so I'm looking at the optimized image. I'll select the first graphic, and in the right hand side you're going to set up some options. Right now this is set as PNG8 because that's what I used recently, and it's using 256 colors. The image looks very good. In the bottom left corner it says PNG8 3.1 kilobytes, so quite small file size, but I'm going to try to reduce number of colors and get maybe even smaller size. I'm going to reduce number of colors to 128. The image still didn't change, it still looks very good, and it's only 2.3 kilobytes. I think that's a fair size. I'm going to move to another graphic, this one here. I'll just click on it to highlight it. I'm using this slice select tool, which automatically appears in Save Web and Devices if you have slices in your design. And the same, PNG8 looks great. I'm going to reduce number of colors to 128, and it's only 995 bytes. Fantastic. Let's have a look at the next one. Archives, Archiven. Also PNG8, it's 2.6 kilobytes. I'm going to reduce number of colors to the same 128, and it's only 1.9 kilobytes. Now someone recently asked me on one of the Photoshop courses, can I just select all of them at the same time and give them the same properties? Of course you can, yeah, you can use the Shift key and highlight a number of images. Yeah, Okay, or you could click and drag to highlight everything and then use the same options. But sometimes you will be using different file formats for different graphics. Now if you look on this page here, I've just highlighted all and used PNG 8. The background doesn't look good, and the header, especially this graphic here, so I would probably change that. But for the buttons, PNG 8 would be great. Okay, that's how you export. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to highlight them, these three, and I'm going to click Save to export them. Make sure the format is set to images only. Okay, and slices, selected slices. I don't want to export everything, I just want to export selected slices. And this is the file name that's going to be used as a base for the name of the file when you export it. So I'm just going to click Save. Photoshop will export it really quickly. I'm going to navigate to my desktop to show you what's created. There's this folder here called Images, and if you open it, there are 3 images here: main, BCKJ 3, 4 and 5, and they're all PNG files. Okay, welcome back. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial as well. Once again, I'm Marek Mularczyk from scitraining.co.uk, one of the UK's leading specialists in Adobe certified training, specializing in Photoshop, Lightroom, Fireworks, Flash and Dreamweaver training, anything web and photography related. If you have any questions, go to scitraining.co.uk, send me an email, or visit my blog Photoshop Lightroom Bridge.co.uk. You will also find me very often on Adobe forums, especially on the Photoshop forum, Lightroom forum and Bridge forum. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you for watching episode 44 of Photoshop Lightroom TV, and I hope to see you next week. Have a wonderful week, and I'll see you next week of episode 45. Thank you for watching. Bye.